Oh, black on black.
I think, yeah, I don't know what seat was yours, then one down. And then you'll come here. Kevin, you would come, you would probably be here and have Bridget in the front, hold the Bible, and the judge will be here.
I have to do right hand on the Bible. No, right, left hand on the Bible.
Raise your right hand and repeat after me. Raise your right hand.
It's hard when someone says something and then to repeat it.
Especially if they do like a paragraph.
Yeah, like wait, do little chunks. So we have Tim. Where's Tim?
Just like this. The judge will be on this side, and the school board member will be on that side with their person. What is that called? The person that swears.
Is Robin here?
She's apparently in the lobby. I was trying to get Tim to come up, but I haven't had any opportunity to get him away from this.
So where's the bell?
It's hot, please. Good afternoon, everyone. If we could try to come in and find a seat, that would be fantastic. Make your way to the front. There are several rows here reserved for our first responders and families of the board members, but you can certainly find a spot anywhere else. Hey, Tim. Mr. Enos. School board members will be on the left, on this side, and I think the sheriff's swearing. You can kill this mic now. The sheriff would be next to you, so you go on the side facing the house.
Hey, Jamal.
So that either you're anywhere that you feel safe, you're backstage. No, I thought we'd have them sit and then I'll ask them.
This one. Or no, maybe this one. Is that good? Tim, grab
This is good.
No, ma'am, anywhere you.
We're going to get started in 1 minute. Well, good afternoon, everyone. It's great to see you today for our swearing-in ceremony. Thank you to family members and friends of our board members for being here today and celebrating this special occasion. Obviously, we have 3 board members who are being sworn in today, Ms. Ziegler, Mr. Enos, and Ms. Marinelli. And what we're going to do is call each person up individually so that they can be sworn in individually, and then we'll go from that point. So we're going to go ahead and start with Ms. Ziegler. Ms. Ziegler is going to be joined by her father, Kevin McGrath, for the swearing-in ceremony, and Honorable Judge Donna Padar.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. I state your name.
I, Bridget Ziegler,
Do solemnly swear or affirm that
do solemnly swear or affirm that
I will support, protect, and defend
I will support, protect, and defend
the Constitution and government of the United States
the Constitution and the government of the United States
and of the state of Florida,
and of the state of Florida,
and that I am duly qualified to hold office
and that I am duly qualified to hold office
under the Constitution of the state of Florida,
under the Constitution of the state of Florida,
and I will well and faithfully
and I will well and faithfully
perform the duties of
perform the duties of
a member of the Sarasota County School Board,
a member of the Sarasota County School Board,
on which I am now about to enter.
of which I am now about to enter.
So help you God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. I know we entered wow, hello. Good morning. I know we started a little bit late, so I'm going to keep my comments brief, but thank you so much to everyone who came out today. I wanted a special thanks to our staff. I know that this week is a time when we're off, but the Florida legislative statute requires that this is the day that we are sworn in, so I really wanted to say thank you and a round of applause to our staff who came in on vacation to ensure that we put on a great event today. I couldn't be more excited about what we are doing today, and as I will say over and over again, onward and upward, there are great things to do as we come before us. We have an incredible, important mission, and you have my commitment to maintain resiliently focused on what is best for our children, for our families, and our staff to support and ensure that every child in Sarasota County graduates prepared to be successful. Thank you again, and God bless.
I failed to mention as well that 2 other board members are here with us celebrating today, and that's Karen Rose. Where's Karen? And Tom Edwards. All right, next we will have Robin Marinelli, and she will be joined by her husband, Mark Half.
I, Robin Marinelli,
I, Robin Marinelli,
do solemnly swear or affirm that
do solemnly swear or affirm that
I will support, protect, and defend
I will support, protect, and defend
the Constitution and government of the United States
the Constitution and government of the United States
and of the state of Florida,
and of the state of Florida,
and that I am duly qualified
and that I am duly qualified
to hold office under the Constitution
to hold office under the Constitution
of the state of Florida.
of the state of Florida.
And I will well and faithfully
I will well and faithfully
perform the duties of
perform the duties of
a member of the
member
Sarasota County School Board,
Sarasota County School Board,
on which I am now about to enter.
in which I am about to enter.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
You did it, Steve. The Iceman comes.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you all for coming. This is such an honor. After serving 35 years with the school board and now to be up here as a board member, this is probably the highlight and the most exciting of my career. But thanks to all the staff that came out, community members, and as always, for 40 years, I've always put students first, parents, staff, and our community. And I hope I will make everybody proud. Thank you. And happy Thanksgiving.
All right, thank you. And next we will have Tim Enos, and he will be joined by Sheriff Hoffman and the Enos family.
I, Timothy Enos,
I, Timothy Enos,
do solemnly swear or affirm that
do solemnly swear or affirm that
I will support, protect, and defend
I will support, protect, and defend
the Constitution and government of the United States
the Constitution and government of the United States
and of the state of Florida.
and of the state of Florida.
I am duly qualified to hold office
And I am duly qualified to hold office
under the Constitution of the state of Florida.
under the Constitution of the state of Florida.
Yes, you are too. I will well and faithfully
I will and will faithfully
perform the duties of
perform the duties of
a member of the Sarasota County School
a
Board,
member of the Sarasota County School Board,
on which I am now about to enter.
upon which I am now about to enter.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. I see the mic is at the right height for us challenged vertically people. So I just wanted to say thank you, and as I was preparing all the comments today, one of the things being here for 32 years, as a public servant in this community, one of the things that I ran on was to make sure that our kids and we remain the #1 safest school district in the state of Florida in regard. Because if our kids can't be safe, our teachers don't feel safe, they can't learn, they can't teach, and it's something that's super important to me to make sure that we do everything we can to support them. We have a lot of elected officials here. I see 3 of our county commissioners. I see our supervisor of election, Chief Thorpe from Venice Police Department's here. The sheriff, of course, is here. We have representatives from Sarasota Police Department. We have lots of different people here. I could go on. One of the things I obviously, when we look at something like this, you can't, I'm kind of speaking for all of us, is the XEM campaign, which is a grassroots effort, was significant in there. People like Connie Rooney, Melissa Radovich, Ashton, Valerie Kampmeyer, different people that were out there. Debbie Azell every day was out there with her daughter doing the things that they do on top of everything else, the support of the staff. But there's 4 or 5 people that I really want to thank. One, obviously, is my family. They were 100% supportive except for my mother. But that's okay. That may be her right there. But at the end, once I said it to them, they said, absolutely, Dad, you've been in this community, as a graduate of Riverview High School, and as well as all of my children have graduated at Riverview and in public schools. We look at Judge Padar, which I knew when she was at the state attorney's office. She graduated from Pineview. She then came back, and her daughter graduated from Pineview. I think those are the things that are significantly important for our community, is because we know what excellence is, and we know what excellence in education is, and supporting our teachers, supporting our students, supporting our parents. I've got lifelong friends here. I see Darby Larkin out there from high school. I see my friend Rob Gherkin and Pace Edwards. Both of them went to high school with me. Rob retired from FWC. As we are all, I see Jeff King and his wife, as we are all graduates of the Harvard of the South, Florida State University, as I've said before. Thank you. That's right, we have some Knowles here. That's right, finally bowl eligible, thank goodness. But I see lots of different people, and what I want to tell you is that, I give you 100% commitment to do everything that I can. I almost forgot Chief Oakes, our chief. I know he's here today from the school police department and all of his officers. When I look at that, I just want to tell you is that, I am 100% committed to doing everything we can for our teachers. It's one of the things when I came and basically took over and created a lot of the school police department, is if you always listen to me, I always said the last thing I would ever say is that, in Sarasota County, we should always lead and never follow, because we should always lead in this. Our parents, our community, our teachers, our administrators, our school board members, all of the things that we do in Sarasota, we should lead and never follow. Again, as I'm doing this, I'm sure I'm going to miss somebody. I see Kurt Lavarello here. He came to support me today, a lifelong friend in law enforcement. But that's what this is about. And I pledge you 100% is that we'll do everything we can to support our teachers, all of our faculty, our support staff, everybody, as well as our parents and our kids, because at the end of the day, when they leave here, I want them to come back to Sarasota to raise their family like I did. So with all of that, thank you. I appreciate everybody for coming today, and go Knowles. Have a great Thanksgiving.
Thank you. As we conclude our swearing-in ceremony, I just want to say congratulations to each of you, and I look forward to continuing to move our school district forward with you, and as we say, working together as one for the success of all. So thank you very much, and again, thank you all for being here today for this great ceremony, and we have another meeting at 2 o'clock as we close this one, and Mr. Maniglia has one more announcement.
Real quickly here, if I could get Ms. Rose and Mr. Edwards to come up so we can get a photograph for our website. We'd like to get that up as soon as possible with this new school board. So we'll do it right here on this backdrop. And again, there will be a brief intermission, so people feel free to walk out in the lobby, stretch your legs, and take pictures if you'd like. Hello, everybody. We'll begin the school board meeting in approximately 4 minutes, so if we could begin to get our seats, and school board members, Dr. Asplin, please make your way back to the podium.
We will start the meeting in 1 minute.
So I'll move over to give you a little more elbow room.
How about Donna giving this, huh? This is really nice. She was so excited about doing this.
So do you or does that change?
I do. It's good to see you.
I don't even see. Here we are.
You can do it. I don't care.
No, I might ask the board if we can suspend the rules, just make a 3-minute, but I already told them all, just in case that happened. I know, but I don't want you to, well, I have to ask, because it's a policy, so. But if you're handling it, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so
On, but muted.
Good afternoon. I'd like to call our reorganization of the Board and Financing Corporation meeting to order. First of all, I'd like to welcome you to the reorganization of the School Board and Financing Corporation meeting this 22nd day of November 2022. If anyone would like to speak during the hearing of citizens, please fill out a card in the lobby and hand it to Megan Cavazos. Ms. Ziegler will call you up at the appropriate time for you to speak. You have 2 minutes to speak. Please note that this is for nominations of chair. That's the next item. Please note that this is a nomination as opposed to a motion, so no second is needed. Nominations are now in order for the office of chair of Sarasota County School Board for the 22-23 school year. Are there any nominations?
Yes, I would like to nominate Bridget Ziegler for Chair of Sarasota County School Board, please.
Thank you. Mrs. Rose moved the nomination for Bridget Ziegler as the chair of Sarasota County Board. Are there any other nominations? All right, hearing none, I declare the nominations closed. Let's take a voice vote. We can start down here with Mr. Edwards.
Yes.
Ms. Rose.
Yes.
Mr. Enos.
Yes.
Mr. Marinelli.
Yes.
Ms.
Yes.
Ziegler. All right, so the recommendation passes. I hereby declare Bridget Ziegler as the 22-23 chair for the Sarasota County School Board. Now we have nominations for vice chair. Again, please note that this is a nomination as opposed to a motion, so no second is needed. Nominations are now in order for the office of vice chair of the Sarasota County School Board for the 22-23 school year.
Yes.
Are there any nominations?
Yes, I'd like to nominate Miss Karen Rose for vice chair.
Ms. Ziegler moved the nomination for Ms. Rose as vice chair of the Sarasota County School Board. Are there any other nominations? All right, hearing none, I declare nominations closed. Let's take another voice vote. Those in favor, as we move down, let's start with Mr. Edwards once again.
Yes.
Ms. Rose?
Yes.
Mr. Enos?
Yes.
Ms. Marinelli?
Yes.
Ms. Ziegler?
Yes.
Yes. All right, so the recommendation passes. I hereby declare Ms. Rose the 22-23 Vice Chair of the Sarasota County School Board. It is now time for hearing of citizens, and if there are any cards out there, please send them to the front. We have, I believe, 9 cards here. We will call you up to speak. The microphone is in the back, straight back here in the middle.
And I apologize.
Go ahead.
Mr. Superintendent, board members, I would like to move that we suspend the rules of our public comment policy for today and increase our time to 3 minutes. And that's a motion. So I move that we suspend our current policy for public comment today for today's hearings and increase public comment for 3 minutes.
Second.
All right, so there's a motion to increase public comment to 3 minutes. There's a second by Ms. Rose. Any conversation? All right.
I just, if I may, I'm curious as to what the public comments are about. There doesn't appear to be an agenda, and we've elected that was on the agenda, so I'm just curious as to what they're for.
Yes, I believe it has to do with the fact that anyone that needs to make comment regarding what we just did, basically, the chair and the vice chair.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
I believe it was if anyone had any comments regarding the item of choosing a chair and a vice chair.
Oh, okay.
And we also have a couple other items. The meeting dates are also on the agenda, and we will find out.
Yes, once I turn the gavel over to Ms. Ziegler, then we go into the regular school board meeting, which has to do with the dates of our meetings and the reorganizational, election of officers as well.
Motion is second. We need a vote.
So there's a motion on the table. Any other conversation? All right, let's vote. Mr. Edwards?
Yes.
Ms. Rose?
Yes.
Mr. Enos?
Yes.
Ms. Marinelli?
Yes.
Ms. Ziegler?
Yes, thank you.
All right, so you'll have 3 minutes. Jamal, if you can make note of that. I know you're keeping the time. There you are, back there. Thank you very much. So at this time, we'll start with our first speaker.
And I'm going to call the first speaker, and I will call the following up on deck, so you give yourself a moment to walk up. And the first speaker is Jennifer Cottrell, and the speaker on deck is Connie Bruni. You have 3 minutes.
Good afternoon, Jennifer Cottrell. Just wanted to say congratulations to Bridget, Robin, and Tim. It's a long time coming for this moment. It's good to see that we finally got a chair and a vice chair that is willing to listen. You know, it's been a while to put students and parents first along with our staff, so I'm really looking forward to what this new year is going to bring to us, to actually finally get our voices heard. And when I say heard, I meant heard and listened to, and not just blank staring at us and looking and really not doing anything. So it's just an honor to be here today to witness this fantastic day. Again, we've waited since August 23rd for this day, and it's just a pleasure. But the hard work's not over. Everybody thinks the hard work was getting you in this position, but we have hard work ahead of us. And I just know that just as a parents and community, we have a lot of work to do, and we're going to hold everybody accountable. So again, we want our students, teachers, and parents to take priority. I think if we can all work together, we can make a huge difference. And I'm just so glad that we finally got a board that's willing to listen to the parents, and let's put our students and teachers first. Thank you.
Thank you. I have next Connie Bruni, and then on deck is Barbara Vaughn.
Howdy. Congratulations, Mrs. Ziegler. Congratulations, Mrs. Rose. Thank you, Board Member Enos, for the shout out earlier today. My name's Connie Bruni. This is a really exciting moment. And what I wanted to do is just ask everybody for 1 second to take a very deep breath of fresh air in this room. What a difference the atmosphere, even coming inside, was today. Talking to the police officers, getting wanded, was fine. It was lovely. So it is a new era in Sarasota. We are excited for all of you, but most importantly for our children and for the future of this county. We know there was hard work, and it's very similar to what Jennifer just said. But we want you to know this is not the end. This is just a beginning. And it's our job to be here to support you and to help you with the hard work that you now face to make the hard changes and make some tough choices that we know we're asking you for. So we want to make sure you know we're here to support you. I say God bless you. God bless our county. God bless America.
Thank you. Next up, we have Barbara Vaughn, and then on deck is Tanya Paris. I didn't say that right.
My name is Barbara Vaughn. I remember very clearly the first time I spoke to the school board in this county. It was about 2010. And while I was speaking, not a single member of the board looked at me. They were busy on their computers, or they were shuffling papers on their desk, but no one looked at me until my time is up and I was dismissed rather abruptly and rudely. As most of you know who've been coming to school board meetings lately, I was distressed by the fact that there was no prayer to open the meeting. I rarely get to speak at the beginning of the meeting, but I'm going to be present, the Lord allowing, at every school board meeting, and at whatever time I get, the school board meeting will be prayed over. I ask you now to join me in prayer. Thank you, Father God, for the many ways you bless us in this community. It is such a wonderful place to live and to raise children. We thank you today, most especially, for a school board that has our children's best interests at heart, not their own. Lord Jesus, be with them, guide them, direct them, help them in the difficult decisions, help them when they are facing parents who are unhappy. Help them to find good solutions, Lord, that please the people involved and please you. Lord Jesus, thank you. Thank you for this newly created Sarasota County School Board. And we ask you to bless the teachers, all the staff, the facility managers, everyone who participates in the education and the care of our students, our blessed children. Thank you, Lord. Amen.
Thank you. Next up is Tanya, and you're going to have to say your last name for me because I feel like I'm butchering it. And then next is Elizabeth Nunder.
It's Tanya Perus.
Thank you.
I know. So congratulations to everybody on the board. To not repeat everything everyone just said, it was a long journey. What I learned from everything that I saw previous was how not to do things. I think that we all faced challenges, every single one of us, even the people that were opposed to us faced challenges. And what was important to me, that we had an area that we could go to talk about those challenges. And I thought that was wonderful. We can go before the school board, they can hear what we have to say. The school board can look at those objectively and come to the table with better decisions that will suit the children. What I didn't see was that. What I saw was a split and divisive manner. I'm not going to say that everybody was perfect. We handled everything the appropriate way, but it really tore our whole county up. We voted you guys in because we hope that you guys are going to stand behind our children. A big, huge deal for me was I had to pull my 2 kids out of school last year. I don't trust school boards because of the behavior that I saw. If you can't come to the board and practice what you preach, and I know I don't have to go into instances, then how does that resonate with our principals? How does that resonate with our teachers, with our students? So I ask you guys, we voted you in because we feel like you're going to support all of our kids. And I ask you guys, please continue to do that. I'll continue to be at those school board meetings to just hold everybody accountable as I would any other way. But you guys, it really means a lot to me that you guys took the beatings that you did to get to where you are. You're still here with smiles on your faces, and you're ready to get the hard work done. And I just hope that you take into account that we really, truly hope that you're going to do the best for our kids, because eventually I do want to put my kids back in school. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Next up is Elizabeth Nunder, and then I have Robin Williams.
Oh my God, this is so awesome. I'm just so electrifying inside of me. But as a Puerto Rican, I'm going to give you a prayer in Spanish. Heavenly Father, open the gates of heaven and listen to our prayer. Padre nuestro que estás en los cielos, santificado sea tu nombre, vénganos en tu reino. Hágase tu voluntad aquí en la tierra como en el cielo. Danos hoy el pan de cada día. Y perdona nuestras ofensas, como perdonamos los que nos ofenden. No nos deje caer en la tentación y líbranos de todo mal. Amén. That's our prayer for our Father. I am overwhelmed to see 2 amazing people, 3 actually. Karen Rose, you know we come a long way. Tim Enos and Robin. With the Miss Latina program, there was a huge battle. No one believed. Girls, 2-point GPA and below. They will never amount to anything. One just made international news for the Army. I tell you what, no money, nothing, everything done in my house with their moms. Those parents that you empower to be responsible and to be with their children and to keep an eye on everything, including the human trafficking that exists in Sarasota County and the pedophiles, is a huge, huge endeavor that we have in our hands to protect our children. And I will tell you with the bottom of my heart, today is an amazing, blessed day for Sarasota County. My son took office, God bless him. You took office, God bless you. I don't know when you'll see me again, but if I popped out, something is wrong, and I'll be here. I love you all. God bless you.
Thank you. Next, we have Robin Williams, and on deck is Bren Gibbs.
My name is Robin Williams, and I am here today because I was concerned when I read an article in the Herald Tribune this morning. Also, I am president of the Democratic Public Education Caucus of Minnesota. The article in the Herald Tribune had a disturbing suggestion that the board may vote to fire Superintendent Asplund, and possibly today. I had only recently checked the school board agenda. There was nothing on the agenda to that effect. It was just mentioned reorganization. I also checked when the next board meeting was, and there was nothing on that agenda for December 13th it just wasn't posted. I believe the public has a right to know if that is under consideration and to be given sufficient advance notice for public comment on this. If the new board truly has the best interests of our students and staff in mind, now is not the time to be looking at firing a superintendent. We have just been through 2 years of a pandemic. We have tremendous shortages of teaching staff. Everybody has been through a lot, and I think now you have a strategic plan. Things are finally, you have a plan to go forward in a positive direction, and I think if really we're not out to score political points, but to keep the students' best interests at heart, then we need to move forward with academic progress and not with more turmoil. We had, before Dr. Asplund came, we had several years of turmoil with the former superintendent, and then a year where you were looking for a superintendent. I don't think we need that now. And I would hope that there be some transparency about this. If you could let us know, I would like a commitment now from the board that this is not on their agenda, but rather the progress of our students.
Thank you. We have Bren Gibbs and then Alexis Spiegelman.
Hello. My name is Bren Gibbs, and I just want to say congratulations to those who have just been elected in. It is an answer to many people's prayers, and I believe that you know that, but I want to tell you, even people that you don't know were praying for you. I was one of them, and I know many others. So I just want to say thank you to all of you who just stepped forward and decided to serve in this position. For all of you up there, thank you so much. And we just look forward to what is in store for our children, our families, our school system, and our community. It's going to impact our community, what you do, the decisions you make. And so we're very thankful, very grateful. And I just want to thank Bridget Ziegler for you are a catalyst, and I'll just say it. 4 years ago, I homeschooled my kids, and they graduated 4 years ago, and I thought I was done with education. and I thought I was graduating. And that was right around the time that you sounded the alarm on what was going on in the school boards. And it gripped my heart, and I know it gripped many others. And so I just want to say thank you for doing that. Thank you for being a catalyst. And thank you, I believe that the Lord has used this to bring about change on this school board and in our community. And so thank you. I just want to say a couple other things. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, and the knowledge of the Holy One is understanding. That's Proverbs 9:11. And an education means a lot more than just giving and learning facts. True knowledge, wisdom, and understanding come from God. I encourage you to remember that we are one nation under God. You are to be leaders under the authority of God. Just as God is the giver of our morals, God is the giver of our rights as a nation, God is the giver of a true education. And I pray you seek Him and the whole truth of God's word in this position on the school board, and lead the students and employees in our community of Sarasota County to do the same. Thank you, and God bless you.
Thank you. Alexis Spiegelman, and on deck is Lisa Scher.
Amen. Hi, I'm Alexis Spiegelman, Moms for Liberty, Sarasota County. Congratulations to you and all of Sarasota County. We bought our home in this school district for the school district. Our daughter has been homeschooling now for the past year. Today, as we turn the page and begin a new chapter for Sarasota County Schools, I hope you will never forget what brought you into the office that you now hold. Over the past 2 years, we have witnessed what the founders of our great constitutional republic warned us all about, the ugly side of government. As Thomas Jefferson said, experience has shown that even under the best forms of government, those entrusted with power have in time and by slow operations perverted it into tyranny. Over the past 2 years, our community has risen up against a board that lost their way and forgot who they work for. From unconstitutional mask mandates to trying to expose the precious minds and hearts of our children, to divisive and racist indoctrination, radical Marxist ideology, and harmful sexually explicit materials, the people have spoken. We've established a Parents' Bill of Rights and accompanying legislation to remind our public servants where their limited role ends and where the sacred role of the parent, established by God, begins. May you never forget that the role of the parent is a God-ordained and eternal jurisdiction. We have seen parents and citizens re-engage in their local government, retake their reins of power over their children's education, and organize to help replace a wayward board. I hope you will seize this opportunity to root out all the corruption that has made its way into our school system over the past couple of decades, that you dig a little deeper into the issues, learn about all the various players, follow all the money and special interest groups that have made their way into our district in an attempt to circumvent the public, and that you will restore Sarasota County School District to one that is focused on academic excellence, one that is ethical and transparent, one that serves and listens to the entire community, including all tax-paying Sarasota County residents, and not just those who still have children in the school system. A board that is apolitical in nature, and a school board that never forgets that we, the people of Sarasota, are the ones you were elected to serve. I ask that you would make sure that the district committees include taxpayers and parents, and not just those hand-selected by the district, in order to push their agenda unobstructed. I hope you will look into why so many teachers are choosing to retire early. We have a steady stream of teachers reaching out to our organization that report the use of district bullying and retaliation. We at Moms for Liberty Sarasota look forward to working with you as we begin to turn our Sarasota County School District around for all Sarasota families and all teachers. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Lisa Scher, and then on deck is Shirley Brown.
Lisa Scher, parent of a student in the district, co-founder of Support Our Schools. I'd like to take this time today to congratulate our 3 new board members, well, 2 new ones, 1 continuing one, as well as the rest of the board. We at Support Our Schools are looking forward to working with you to better our district. There's a lot of work to be done. The achievement gap is unacceptable. The reading scores are unacceptable. But I also want to remind you that you are here, and we are here as well,
to represent all of our children, and that includes our marginalized students. The Parents' Rights Bill, for some but not for all, seeks to disenfranchise the civil and human rights of many of our students. We will continue to work with you to educate our children, but we are watching, and we will not allow you to disenfranchise the rights of our children. So I'm wishing you luck, looking forward to working with you, and assuring that all of our children receive the best public education possible. Thank you.
Thank you. And final is Shirley Brown.
Thank you. I too would like to congratulate our two new board members and our returning member. And as someone previously said, you are in a position of leadership now, Ms. Ziegler, and I hope that you use that to the best of your ability to calm some of the problems that we've had. You've seen that you were part of coming up with a new strategic plan that puts the focus, all of us, on the success of our students, for the success of all the districts. We made great gains at the last year's testing, hopefully continue that. And I hope you also help people to understand that a board table isn't normally the place where parents' problems are often solved. Emails, and I encourage all of our board members to make sure that they answer those emails from persons who have a problem with something. And to remind them that we don't hire and fire all of the staff, although we technically do on that report, but it's the superintendent that we hire and fire. And if we have problems with the superintendent, I hope you will work either with the Florida School Boards Association or something to get that. Division is not a problem. It's probably a better thing if you come with different ideas or different angles on how to solve a problem, and then work together with the board to try to come to a conclusion or resolve that. It's not a place to resolve it on the internet or in screaming outside of the boardroom. I think it's best if we come to the table with those challenges. And I also want to assure somebody that if we were on our computers, we have computers on our desk that give us an upfront look at what the person is saying. And I was one that was always looking at that screen to see who was speaking. It wasn't that I was ignoring somebody or not listening. I was looking at the screen to have an up-close view of who was speaking, which I thought helped my understanding of what the person was saying. And, speaking of parents' rights, I agree with parents' rights. And I believe that what you have to do as a school board and the school district is educate our children, make sure that they understand and have responsibility for themselves and for our community, and so that when they graduate, that they are either enrolled in a school, enlisted in the museums, or employed, not the museums, the military, or employed in our district. I mean, I know that's all of your goals and we need to work for that, but I think an important parental right is the religious upbringing of their students, of our children, and also supporting our children in the lifestyles that they choose. And I think that's a very important.
Thank you very much, and that concludes public comments.
All right, at this time, thank you all very much for those comments. I'd like to congratulate our new chair, Ms. Ziegler, and I will pass the gavel.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, first I want to say thank you to my colleagues for the support, and I don't take this lightly, and I want to thank everyone here today for taking the time to support the new incoming board, but also to reiterate your focus and commitment to Sarasota County Schools and our students and families and their success, as well as our staff. And that is something, as I said before, is my commitment moving forward. You'll hear me say onward and upward quite a few times, because while there may be disagreements, I think civil discourse is a positive thing. I believe in modeling behavior, and as a chair, I intend to see that forward. I think the governance structure is incredibly important, but I think different viewpoints is how you create progress as long as there's mutual respect upon one another. And so to my colleagues, you have my absolute commitment that that will be the way we will conduct all of our meetings going forward. So with that, we will move down to the next meeting. So I'll go to that, and that is item number 7. Sorry, I might be a little rusty. We are approving the dates. We have January 17th, February 7th and 21st, March 7th and 21st, April 4th and 18th, May 2nd and 16th, June 6th and June 20th, July 18th, August 1st and 15th, September 5th and 19th, October 3rd and 17th, November 7th and 28th, and December 12th. I do want to note that at our last workshop, this was a discussion, but given that we have a different board, I thought we do need to post them and move forward, but we can add this as an additional item. There has been discussion as whether or not we want to continue having meetings on, having 2 separate meetings and workshop on a different date. Again, not necessarily the time that we'll talk about this, but moving forward, this would be an operation that we'll vote on it, but we could amend it if that's something this board wants to discuss in the future. So on that, item number 7, may I have a motion, please?
I'd like to make a motion for recommendation that the 2023 regular school board meeting dates be approved as presented.
Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any comments? Okay, we'll do a voice vote. I'll start with Mr. Edwards.
Yes.
Mrs. Rose?
Yes.
Mr. Enos?
Yes.
Mrs. Marinelli?
Yes.
And the chair votes aye, and that passes unanimously. Moving on to item number 8, we are doing the suspension of the reorganizational meeting. The annual meeting confirms and ratifies all actions taken by the officers and directors and elects the chair as president and the superintendent as secretary and treasurer. May I have a motion, please?
Madam Chair,
Yes, ma'am.
will there be time for school board member comments? Will that be after when we reconvene the board meeting, or?
Great question. So we can reconvene the meeting and then we would adjourn, and I was going to open it up for individual members' comments as we adjourn.
Thank you very much.
Very good. So do I have a motion on item number 8 for the reorganizational meeting?
May I make a motion in regard to the organizational meeting that ratifies all actions taken by officers, directors, elects the chair as president, and superintendent as secretary and treasurer?
I have a motion and is there a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second, and are there any comments? And I will do a voice vote. Mr. Edwards?
Yes.
Mrs. Rose?
Yes.
Mr. Enos?
Yes.
Ms. Marinelli?
Yes.
And the chair votes aye, and the motion passes unanimously 5-0. Moving on to the election of officers. The corporation are required to submit an annual report to the Florida Department of State, Division of Corporations. This action will update the elected officers of the financing corporation to the current chair and superintendent. May I have a motion, and just note, and I don't know what you guys have as a cheat sheet here, but that the board elect, and it would be Bridget Ziegler as president of the corporation and Brennan Asplin as the secretary and treasurer of the corporation. So do I have a motion?
So moved.
And do I have a second?
Second.
Any comments? Seeing none, I'll do a voice vote. Mr. Edwards?
Yes.
Mrs. Rose?
Yes.
Mr. Enos?
Yes.
Mrs. Marinelli?
Yes.
And the chair votes aye, and the motion passes unanimously. Moving on to item number 10 is the adjournment of, and I should have used my gavel. Adjournment of the annual financing corporation meeting to reconvene the reorganizational meeting. May I have a motion to adjourn the meeting, item number 10?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
I have a motion. Who seconded? Who moved it?
Mr. Ed.
Oh, sorry. I apologize. So I have a motion and a second. Are there any comments? Seeing none, I will go for a voice vote. Mr. Edwards?
Yes.
Mrs. Rose?
Yes.
Mr. Enos?
Yes.
Mrs. Marinelli?
Yes.
And the chair votes aye, and the item passes unanimously 5-0. Then we are reconvening to our reorganizational meeting. I wanted to give the opportunity, I kind of pre-did that when I took the gavel, but wanted to give members of the board an opportunity to close out before we adjourn. Are there any comments? Mrs. Rose?
Yes, Madam Chair. I would like to request a special meeting of the board if there is a interest of board members to convene a special meeting as soon as possible and look at any board business that any member may want to add to that special meeting. Preferably early next week on Tuesday, if there is a desire by the board.
I will defer to council. So yes, we can certainly we can call a special meeting, we need to make a motion. We just need to make sure we have an agenda specifically for any kind of special meeting.
And I have an agenda item that I will be putting forth.
Okay. Okay. I'm going to defer to council, sorry.
Just by statute, there are, different ways you can enact a meeting. The superintendent can call a special meeting, the board chair can call a special meeting, or a majority of the board members can call a special meeting if the chair elects not to do it. Those are the three mechanisms to enact a special meeting. So you would need to just pick one of those three options.
Okay. No, I mean, we're here convened. So no, and I think, to ensure, for example, there are a couple different items that I could bring forward. I don't know, is there specific agenda items? Are there other members that we want to make sure so that we can, okay. So do we have a date in mind, and then we can put it in a form of a motion so the board can?
And I'll just add, it has to be at least 48 hours in advance.
Okay.
And there are statutory posting requirements, and this is all laid out in policy 2.22 as well.
Okay.
I'm proposing September 29th to give the public appropriate and plenty of notice.
November 29th?
Tuesday, a week from today, I believe is the 29th, is that correct?
It is. Members, are there any comments? Any thoughts? Is there a specific time?
When will the agenda item be advanced?
Well, I will propose an agenda item if there is a consensus to hold a special meeting. Defer to council if you want. My agenda item should be now.
I think you certainly can announce it if that is the.
Okay. I am asking for an agenda item to recommend termination of the superintendent's contract.
So, okay, so we have November 29th, calling a special meeting for a discussion around the superintendent. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, and then do you have a time frame, and then we need a motion in a second? We have a motion, we have a second.
I'll second.
Is there a specific time so that we can put it in a proper posture?
6 o'clock, September 29th. November 29th.
Okay, bear with me. Okay. I'm sorry, just bear with me, working backwards here. So today's November 22nd. So we have a motion and a second to have a special meeting of the board convening at 6 p.m. on November 29th with an agenda item discussing the superintendent. Is there, as I said, and again, I know this was mentioned, when it comes to anything like this, to ensure that there's proper information out there. Certainly this is a very significant discussion, so wanting to make sure our new board members have all the appropriate information, and we also, I don't even have a current contract, so I want to make sure that we have all of the appropriate information to best prepare the board for that discussion, and certainly for the public. And then board members, if there are any additional items, I can bring forward some other ones that are unrelated to go through. Just want to make sure there's proper timing and proper posting of that. And then if there are any other board members that want to bring forward, I think perhaps I can put into the agenda a specific, each board member bringing up any issues. And if there are any, again, for transparency purposes, some will take longer than not necessarily action on that particular day, but that would afford that opportunity. I just want to try to put this out in the proper way. So I guess my request to board members would be, if you have any items that you would like to be addressed on this special meeting, to utilize that opportunity and have those back to, I believe, Kathy Tompkins, to post that agenda, working backwards, and Mr. Duggan, if you can help me here, to make sure there's ample notice. How would we be noticing that?
So my suggestion would be, well, my understanding is Kathy Tompkins on vacation right now.
Oh, I'm sorry, Ms. Termine. Okay.
So Ms. Termine, okay. So I mean, my suggestion would be, in light of the holiday, if this is the course of events and scheduling the board wishes to do, to give as much notice to the public, to get it any agenda items and notices posted and advertised prior to the end of business tomorrow, just to give as much ability to the public to consume this and in the spirit of transparency.
Might I suggest, and I will do this in a form of an amendment, a motion, but because that staff is off this week, if we were to, would there be any objection of moving it to December 2nd?
What day of the week is?
That's a Friday.
I'm fine with December 2nd. I look to the board members for their schedule.
I just want to make sure that giving proper notification so that it's able to be posted for the public. That's my only reservation to Mr. Duggan's point, that staff is out all week, except for the ones that are here today. Is that something that other board members would be acceptable with a
Sure.
Friday? I know that's Friday, but is that agreeable, Mr. Edwards? I know.
When you call a vote, I'll let you know.
Okay, very good. So I amend to have the special meeting on December 2nd at 6 p.m., if that's still an agreeable time. Can I have a second for the amendment? If you guys.
Second.
Okay. Okay, so are there any more comments? Okay, hearing none, then I will do a voice vote. Mr. Edwards.
So I need to have a repeat of the motion, please.
That the board is calling a special meeting now on December 2nd to convene at 6 p.m.
No.
I will, Mrs. Rose,
Yes.
Mr. Enos,
Yes.
Mrs. Marinelli,
Yes.
and the chair votes aye, and the motion passes 4-1 to convene a special meeting at 6 p.m. on December 2nd. There any other comments for any other board members? Mr. Enos.
Just, again, in the level of transparency, obviously you see Mr. Dugan is representing. We received a very nice letter from Mr. DeLeo. I wish him the best, and as we move forward, working with Mr. Dugan at the Sheriff's Office and regarding to his counsel, I wanted to make sure everybody understood that we had received a letter of resignation and that he was the recommendation by Mr. DeLeo in the letter, and that we'll be presenting the letter for the public so they can also see it as we move forward. So it's really not an emotion, it's more of, this is why Mr. Dugan is here.
No, thank you for that, Mr. Enos. I actually wanted to mention that, that thank you to Mr. DeLeo for his service. And then one question I would have for the board is to, if I actually could have the authority to negotiate the contract that we have currently with Shoemaker Loop so that it reflects more concisely some areas that I think potentially need more cleaning up, but also in particular as it relates to the lead counsel being Mr. Duggan, if that's agreeable. Do I need a motion for that, Mr. Duggan?
Well, I believe the contract just can be amended in writing, so probably
Okay.
for transparency purposes and to have, as much uniformity here amongst yourselves is probably a good idea.
Okay, very good. Kind of working out the cuff here. Well, actually, are there any additional comments?
Yeah, I just wondered if those dialogues were available for a workshop before at the actual alteration of a contract. To me, that would make more sense than trying to bounce it back and forth on this dais.
Certainly. No,
So that would be my suggestion.
So my only point was to amend it so it was in the proper posture, but now that we understand that Mr. DeLeo is no longer working forward, we can present some kind of amended version and discuss it at a workshop, which makes more sense. Very good. Are there any other comments?
Yes, Madam Chair. I would like to, I hope this is an appropriate time, but at a future date, a workshop or whatever, I would like to discuss all the foundations and their involvement in our school district and exactly what they are doing. And I'd also like to go over all the interagency agreements, because I think it is important to know what is taking place in our schools for academic achievement for our children.
Thank you. Okay. So when we look at the schedule for December, and just trying to find the most appropriate place, especially with some of the information there, and there's some other elements that came to even some potential policies in the era of transparency. So on the 29th, because that is such a significant discussion, I think we should keep it exclusively to that, just for the sake of time. And then for the upcoming workshop, I think we have, is that not the 6th? It is on the 13th, I believe. And I'll double check that. I'll add that to when we go over for agenda review to make sure that we add each individual board members have different issues they want to talk about, so we're prepared. And I can have Kathy Tompkins or Linda send out an email to make sure that's reflected in that agenda in advance. Does that work? Okay. Are there any other comments? Mr. Edwards.
Well, I'd like to congratulate the newly installed board members and the chair and vice chair. Welcome to the dais. Welcome back, Mrs. Ziegler. And I also wanted to wish our students, our families, their staff, and this county a very happy Thanksgiving. And on that note, I wish you well.
Thank you very much. And if there are no additional comments, I will echo what Mr. Edwards just said. I wish everyone a happy, safe, and safe Thanksgiving with lots of food and family and love. And I appreciate everyone's time today for coming out and support. And this meeting is adjourned. I will.